Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to our 13th KlunCast. Today here we're with Coach Klun
Hey guys, how are you doing?
and our very special guest, BJ.
How you guys doing?
So BJ is currently the athletic director at Calvary Chapel High School, the high school I attended to, and also he's also coaching the boys basketball team this year. And we're gonna have a little chat with him, talk about all of his experiences in the basketball world, coaching, playing, and yeah, let's dive into it. Um, so coach, let's begin from like the real start there. And how does your story with basketball begin? And how where did the motivation to become a coach come from?
So where the story with basketball kind of just started off is it was the basketball was in my crib. My dad's a longtime basketball coach, successful high school basketball coach. He's actually still coaching to this day. He retired from a school called Layton Christian Academy, and then went to Dayton, Ohio, and thought he was going to be out, and he got right back into it. So he's been coaching 40, I think 45 plus years. So it's one of the things that I come from a basketball family. So like I said, it was in the crib, it was in the genes. One of the things I will say is that I did not think I was going to be a basketball coach. My dad's name is Bobby. So always when people say, you're going to coach too, I said, no, that's what Big Bobby does. That's not what Little Bobby does. So that was one of the things like that. But God had a different calling on my life, and it was important. And voila, coaching just all of a sudden became my profession. I've been able to been blessed to be able to do a lot of good things with it. So I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I actually thought I was going to not coach this year, but some things changed and wound up coaching this year too, and it's just been a blessing.
Nice, nice. And you had experience at different levels at high school, NCAA, D1.
Yes.
Um, so when you're recruiting, what's the main qualities that you're looking for on the players? What if you're talking about the type of quality that you're looking at for all levels, on and off the court? What's the main stuff you're looking at for players?
The first one is this is that are you coachable? One of the things that we believe in coaching is yes, we have to make you better, but we also got to add you into a team aspect to it. So um I'm one of those coaches that are gonna sit down and watch your whole entire game. If you're losing by 20 or if you're winning by 20. And the reason why is I want to see how you react when things are going well, and I also want to see how you react when things are going bad. Are you going to be that teammate when one of your teammates who doesn't get to play that much, are you going to be over there cheering them on, or are you going to be disengaged? If a coach is giving you hard coaching, are you going to be the player who rolls your eyes, or are you going to be the player who embraces it, says yes, coach, and keeps on working? That's the first thing that I look for, and then obviously the talent level. You have to have some talent, to be able to do that. And then I'm very thorough in our process. I always believe in making sure that, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to, what they say, dot my I's and cross my T's. So I'm going to ask people about you. I'm going to ask how you are in the community. I'm going to ask what type of person you are. I'm going to see what drives you, because that's important because when we're offering you a scholarship, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I want you to be able to come in your representation of the university, and I want this to make sure that this is the right fit for you and this is the right fit for us too at the same time. That's just kind of like my philosophy when I'm recruiting.
Awesome, awesome. So I don't know if all of yours know, but so you have coached at University of Denver and at Layton Christian. There's a lot of Brazilian people who attended that school too. And throughout your whole career, what has been the most memorable season and or seasons, if you want to add a top three
Mhm.
or something, and some of the most challenging parts of all those seasons?
Um, I would say the most memorable season, for me actually would have been my first season ever as a head coach in any type of level. It was a high school, at Layton Christian Academy. I was the assistant coach for 1 year with my father. And then the next following year, Greg Miller provided me the opportunity to be the head girls basketball coach. When I took over the head girls basketball coach, we won 2 games in 2 years. And at the beginning of the year, we had a big time win. Then it started working. It started going well. We won 2 games, 2 games in a row, and then all of a sudden we tanked and we lost six or seven. And just that whole entire process of getting them to believe in themselves and just the work that went into it. It was a lot of fun. But then what wound up happening, we had a shift in the season and we wound up actually winning the conference championship. And then we wound up going to the state tournament. We lost in the first round, but it was a huge accomplishment for us because the school hadn't been there in a while. And it was just a lot of fun because those girls kind of actually launched my career in the coaching because that next following year, that's when I was the assistant coach at an NAIA school. Um, just because I was like, all right, I do want to coach again. So I had someone reach out and then give me the opportunity to be able to get in college coaching from there.
So when you get a program like this that it's you're coming from losing seasons and you're trying to get better, trying to build them up, build winning habits, and build that program from the ground up. What's what are the habits that you try to install in your players to have that shift in culture from
Mm-hmm.
losing a lot of games to creating those winning habits?
Yeah. Like you just said right there, Andre, it's important is habits. One of the things is that you have to define, you have to develop winning habits. That's important. And the reason being is that um, like nowadays, let's be honest, nowadays when it comes to culture, that like everybody throws that culture piece around, but there's some coaches who just go out and they just want to recruit a bunch of the best athletes so they can be good the next following year. It's no, it's if you want something to last, you have to build your foundation on something solid, not on sand, and that's kind of one of the things that I kind of get from my father. That's one of the things that he's known for is building programs. And one of the things that it takes about it is just it's effort, enthusiasm, and love. You have to go in there and you have to go in there with that mentality of loving what you do. Of not so much saying, "Hey, I want to bring in the next 6'10" guy," or I want to bring in a kid that can shoot a bunch of shots. That's transferring in, but it's saying, "Hey, I want to develop what is already here," because that's something special to it, and bringing my own type of flavor to it. And that one of the things of it is I always tell, and I've said it many times this year, is that to coaches that I've had too, is that hey, you get one chance to win a culture, you get many chances to win games, meaning that there's going to be some hard decisions because a lot of times when there's losing programs, there's sometimes bad habits, and you have to break some of those bad habits. So that's just kind of my my focus is being more transformational, especially when you're trying to develop a culture like that, not being transactional.
That's nice. Yeah, and we're also gonna ask, so now within yourself, what do you think you've matured the most in the coaching aspect over your decade long career? What has
Mhm.
been something or some things that you feel that you kind of transformed it within yourself?
Um, it was funny. I actually just had a conversation with somebody about this, a younger coach about this the other day, and they were calling and asking for some advice, and I said, I still remember to this day how impatient I was when I started off as a young coach. I felt like I knew everything. I had the answers to everything. I had zero patience. I had zero understandings. Like if somebody did something wrong, I was like, "You get out, get out!" Like, but whereas now, what I learned is going through this career is that it's all about patience. It's all about love. It's all about understanding. It's all about wanting what's best for someone. And it's fun to be able to just see that happen year in, year out. Because I know if I look back at my old self, I would say, "Hey, like, what are you doing? Like you're being soft," and that's not it at all. I'm just being more understanding and being more patient.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I started coaching to transitioning from playing to coaching.
Mhm.
I used to think, hey, coaching's easy. You just got to tell them what to do.
Yep.
Um, and then you realize how many times you have to say the same thing, especially when you're working with young kids. And that's what I tell my young assistants now. Like they're, oh no, just gotta tell this and that, and they're gonna get it done. I'm like, yeah, a few more hundreds of thousands of times, then maybe they'll get it done. Uh,
Yep.
um, and um, and one thing too, you were talking about the transfers, right? Which is something that has been happening for a long time in college, but I think now even in high school, it's become very, very usual. So I wanted to ask you about that, like especially in high school, when kids are younger and and they're still learning a lot of different aspects of the game. Um, how challenging, how much more challenging it is in high school compared to college to have kids transferring in and out every year.
In high school, it's I'll break it up in two ways. I'll talk about how it's challenging in high school, and then I'll talk about how it's challenging in college.
Yeah,
The way that it's challenging in high school is that you'll start seeing like there's certain kids that are juniors in high school that already been in three different high schools. Like so think about this. They in their high school experience, they've been pulled from a school, went to another school, that didn't work out, and then went to another school right now. So they're in their third high school in their third year. What does that mean? That means that it's hurting their development. And a lot of times that's because it's it's sometimes one of the how can I say it? Everybody's an expert in basketball nowadays, and so now you have sometimes people who've never even played. You have people who lie about their stats, lie about what their accomplishments are, and they live their life to their kids. So what they do is they'll take their kid out, and when they take their kid out, they put them in another school, and they're not happy with that. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take my ball, and I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna go to another situation. So it's like it's really, really watering down the game. And the development is not there as much. And that's the reason why, as you guys see too, is that the fundamentals in American basketball aren't there as much anymore. It's more individualistic type of game. It's very rare that you'll see young kids who actually can play together. And you see all the NBA pros, they talk about it all the time. They're like, hey, like the grassroots part of the basketball, which is high school, is starting to suffer just because of how individualized it is. Like I tell we were talking about Jordan and Ben earlier, and I tell them this. I said, guys, hey, you want to be around 1.2 to 1.3 points per shot. That means you're being very effective with your shots and your scoring. Nowadays, you have kids like they're like, hey, I'm a big time scorer. And they're saying, yeah, I scored 30, 39, 40 points, and they're putting them all over YouTube. But guess what? They took in 45 shots, and that's the part of them being a transfer and just like trying to me, 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 me. It's all about me. But from a college standpoint, where you have seen it happen is that you've seen it happen realistically good and bad for some people. The kid that the bad way is that now when you pick up the phone, if you're a college recruiter, you have to talk to an agent. You're not talking to the kid. So it's more of now a conversation of, hey, how much money are you gonna be able to give me? So if you have $90,000, the kid doesn't really have to come out to go look at the school at all. He's just gonna come to your school. That's what it's turned into, like the highest bidder. The way it's worked in the good for some people is that um the kid now that's NAI or Division two that's really really good, that would get overlooked now is now getting some possibility. A perfect example of that is if you follow Big West basketball, you see San Diego. You know,
yeah,
one of the hardest phone calls that I got, and I said we got, it came in June, and our point guard got plucked from us the last day before the portal basically closed. Their starting point guard at UCSD, Hayden Gray. He was a starter for 2 years already for us, 3 years. Led us to multiple tournament appearances, but got presented an opportunity to be able to play. And from day one, he was a starting point guard at UCSD, as a coming in. He was supposed to go during that level, but what it does now, it gives now Division 1 and some people who have more money, it gives them more margin of error. They can miss on a kid now and know that they can circle back and be able to get him. Because that kid should be there the whole entire time. But how does he get there? He gets to APU and he should realistically be Division 1 the whole entire time. There's multiple kids like that now.
Yeah. Yeah. And most of the kids that are watching this from Brazil, they're trying to get to the US. It's the dream for most of them. High school, college, you know. We've fortunately have had a lot of kids in our program that have been able to get to the US to be
Mhm.
student athletes in high school and in college. A couple of them at Calvary, Rafa, who's
Mhm.
hosting the podcast with us for sure. And I was going to ask you, so if you could give some advice to young kids in Brazil for both, maybe for high school first and then for college, what would you tell them to work on, especially on the court, but if you have some off the court stuff too that they can work on so they can achieve those dreams?
Yeah, I would say this is Andre is like it's important that they utilize first the resource that was given to them. And the how can I say it? Like Rafa was lucky to be able to have you, so be able to help navigate that process. So I think that the first thing that you need to do is that you need to make sure that you consult and you talk with your coach, like so you can be able to have the opportunity and you can kind of direct them in the right directions, and you can also have conversations with them, because not every situation is a good situation. And I think that that's important. And then once they talk to you and they get put in the right situation, I think that the biggest thing is that when you go over there, it's important that you go over with the mentality of trust. Like, hey, I know this is going to be hard. I know this is going to be different, but I need to trust the process. And I'm going over and realistically working at Leighton Christian Academy sometimes. Um, I've seen students that made it, and I've seen students who didn't make it. And a big part of that is when they go to America, there's a lot of distractions here. So it's, hey, I need to concentrate on my education. I need to concentrate on my basketball, and that's going to help me with with being successful. Whereas I'm not getting distracted into the party scene or anything else of that nature. It's important just to make sure that you stay focused, but it's also important that you enjoy yourself too at the same time. And you can be able to, like I said, you can have friends. I'm not saying not have friends, but I'm saying is that um, you have to remember what you came over for the whole entire time. And then from a college standpoint, um, I think that it's important. And this is where I see is that not to put too much pressure on your standpoint, especially for international players. That's one of the main things that I tell them. I say, hey, you can't put too much pressure on yourself. I said, when you're coming over here, it's a little bit different than almost some of the high school verbiage. Is hey, find something that you like to do outside of basketball. If you like to go to the movies, if you like to go play golf, if you like to be able to do, if you like to go to the beach, like find something else that you can be able to do. Also find a community um once you get there too as well, and that will help you through because then it'll feel more like home. And basketball and life in general, the people who succeed are the people who are comfortable. So once you're learn how to be comfortable, I think that you'll be successful.
For sure, for sure. And um, also, as far as like specific skilled work,
Yeah,
what are the main things that you think kids should work on to be ready for the games?
become an elite level shooter. Elite level shooter. I think that that's important. Elite, have the fundamentals, become elite level shooter. Especially if you're a guard, not any position. If you can shoot the basketball, that's one of the things that, in my personal opinion, in American basketball lacks today. We don't shoot the ball as efficient as we should. So the the young people who can shoot the basketball and have good fundamentals are always going to find a way to be able to play. Just because it's very rare that you'll see four people on the floor in an American basketball game who can be able to shoot the ball at a high level. And what I mean by that is just being able to, like I said, score at that 1.2 to 1.3 points per game.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, that's great. I think all the kids that are watching and hopefully they listen to everything that you're saying and put it to work. I think that's definitely gonna help them uh, with their basketball dreams right now and for the future. We're like we were just talking before the podcast. We were just like Brazil just finished the season right now for most kids.
Mm-hmm.
Our youth basketball finishes the season in December, so um, they got a full off season right now, starting
Yep.
right now to work on their shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, for shooting for the kids, like all the fundamentals that they have to work on as far as like their footwork to get into the shot, follow through, and all that stuff. Uh, they have a good time right now to get ready for next season.
Yep.
And,
Definitely.
so I wanna thank you for joining us for this 13th KlunCast, and hopefully we'll have more Brazilian kids coming over to Calvary soon to be there with you guys. I know Rafa had a great time. I know Pedro had a great time. They all really enjoyed being at Calvary. Uh, Pedro and Rafa both stayed there for 2 years, and we're coming over in July again with our team to play some AAU, and hopefully see you guys again. Be there at Calvary. The kids always have a great time there. You guys treat them super well. So uh, very happy to keep this connection going, and hopefully sometime we can bring you guys to Brazil. Come over here, play some games in your off season. Um, I'll officially extend that invitation right now. If you get whenever you guys want to come, 2025 or in the future, come over for the off season, play some games here against local teams. See Rio, which is a beautiful city, a lot of stuff to see here too. You guys will always be welcome here too,
Thank you so much. I definitely want to take you up on that offer.
for sure. Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Coach Klun. Thanks, BJ. Thank you so much for everyone watching. Yeah, it was a great talk, and I'm sure all the kids, all the athletes here watching us will take a lot from this conversation and hopefully implement it in their game, in their mentality, and yeah, thank you guys. Thanks, BJ. Thanks, Andre. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.